Talk about a dream come true bike. This MV Augusta landed in my garage and I got to replace the tires on it. This is a 2007 MV Augusta F4 1000R. We're going to put a new set of Bridgestone S22Rs on it. First thing we did was we removed the retaining clip inside the rear axle, and yes, you do see me using an impact. I have decided to stop killing myself with the rear wheels on these bikes. Do take note that your MV Augusta single-sided swing arm, it's going to be righty loosey, lefty tighty. So there's your heads up. So easy enough to get the rear wheel off the bike. You just loosen that nut and the wheel comes off just like a Ducati. Now we've got the tire off. The tire is getting ready to go onto the tire machine. We're letting the air out of it. These Brembo wheels, the rear wheel is a little bit different, so the valley, or the, I don't know what you really call it, the dip in the wheel, where you would put the bead to get the tire onto the wheel, is on the outside, or on the right side of the wheel, the right side of the bike. And then the left side of the wheel, the inner part of the wheel where we're working now, that part of the wheel is actually more reminiscent of an ATV wheel. So the way a ATV wheel kind of slopes into the wheel, into the deep part of the wheel, that's how this wheel's set up. So if you're doing a tire change on one of these, just note it takes a little bit more effort to push that rear tire off of the bead and into the valley of the wheel. But it's not that big of a problem, especially with my machine. It's just a little bit more time consuming. Going on, I actually think that the tire seats a lot better on the inside, because it's more like a cone. It's like the bead of the tire is sliding down the inside of the wheel, and it goes right to the edge and locks into place. But as you see, it's a few tries. I've got the bead is about an inch off of the outside of the wheel now, and I'm just slowly pushing the bead into that valley that I was talking about. So at that time, I think we just about got it. So we're right now. I could throw the wheel up on the machine, and I could remove the outer side, the right side of the bead. I can remove that from the tire, but I would really fight. It would take a lot of fighting for me to pull that left side of the tire up into the wheel. And that's kind of what we're working on right now. We're just trying to get that left side pushed in. So it actually it's coming. It looks good. If I were doing this on my manual machine, I probably wouldn't be happy, but with my pneumatic bead breaker, it's not too bad. So we're clamped onto the wheel now, and that looks pretty good. We move our arm into the way, and speaking of arms in the way, don't worry folks, I told Jim to get out of the way. He didn't realize I was running a camera, and then when I went to balance the wheel for you guys, Completely forgot to turn the camera on, so I apologize for that. um, and then instead of me doing my job changing tires, I want to sit and talk to people, so that's not getting the job done fast enough. But these are Pirelli Corsas, and these Pirelli Corsas are very expensive tires, but they are not any better than the Bridgestone S22s. He shot me an email after he got home. He said the S22s feel pretty good. From my house to his house, there is not a bad road, so he did get to scrub them in, and he did get to put the bike through some turns. If you've watched my videos, you know that I am a fan of the S22s. So I just I'm using slip and seal on this brush. That's what I use on my tire machine. It's called slip and seal. You can look it up. It's pretty cool stuff. It's very slippery when wet, and it kind of glues the tire on once it dries. So I just turned the wheel around so my yellow dot on the tire would match up with my valve stem, which you don't have to do if you're computer balancing it. It's really not that important. And now we're putting the tire on. And then we just unclamp the wheel from the machine and fill it with air. And unlike, like a cruiser wheel or a Harley wheel, something like that, this tire sat really perfect in the bead. It didn't take a whole lot of air pressure. I don't usually give specs, but I will for the MV Augusta for the 5 of you who might watch this video. Front and rear tire pressure from the factory is 33. 33 seems about right to me, if you're actually using the bike and you're going out and riding it sporty. However, I will tell you this: if you're only riding your MV Augusta to Starbucks to show it off and back to the house, you could probably get by with maybe a little bit more tire pressure, just to get the rubber to last a little bit longer. But if you're actually going to sport ride this bike, I would say 33, 34, maybe 32 would be a perfect tire pressure. These are the 190 55s. So now we got the valve stem on. When I balanced it, the rear wheel took 1/4 ounce, and now we're putting it on. So I will give you torque specs on this. The minimum torque spec is 160. So a Ducati 1098, 1198 is 166. So MV Augusta actually gives you a range variant. So about 160 to 170 foot-pounds. But again, just like a Ducati, you don't really need to worry about the torque specs on the rear wheel. You want to use the German torque setting. You want to get your rear nut Guten tight, and once it's as tight as you can possibly get it, and the holes that I just showed you line up so you can get that clip through it, then you're pretty much good to go, because that nut is not going to go anywhere once that clip is in place. So remember, it is lefty tighty, lefty tighty. So right now I stopped because I can look down through the wheel and I can see that one of those holes is lined up with the nut, and I'm telling you, I was putting a lot of force down on that handle of the wrench, and I know this wheel will be on there forever. Thanks for watching my video. This is a 2007 MV Augusta. Hope you enjoyed it.